Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 3.
Unravel Uplift. We're here again.
Yes, today we are going to talk about spring cleaning. And, 'tis the season. We're not going to really talk about maybe cleaning per se, but every aspect of cleaning, right? So we're talking about a 365 clean.
A bit of a deep dive. I think about those baseboards. I call them skirting boards because that's what they're called in England. But those
Wait, what are they
baseboards,
called?
skirting boards.
Skirting
Mhm,
boards.
yeah.
Okay.
But
There you go, guys. Skirting boards.
learned something new today. But how we kind of get on our knees and scrub those baseboards. We get, the devices, I don't even know what they're called right now, those long kind of dusty devices, and we get in the corners and get those cobwebs.
Yes.
I think, yes, that is one form of spring cleaning and it's so therapeutic. But we want to bring that concept and bring it to our everyday life.
We're going to totally unravel that today.
Mhm.
What does spring cleaning mean to you? What's it mean to us? And how do we get through that together? Because it is a metamorphosis. I don't know about you, but I appreciate a good purge.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's
Mhm.
physically, whether it's cleaning my closet, whether it's, organizing my life, it just feels good to take out the clutter. So we're going to break that down today.
I also think that we have to be in the right mindset, right? I know that if I start to think about spring cleaning my house, I can feel quite overwhelmed, and I have to be in the mood to just commit to doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge part of this as well.
Yeah. And I think if you tuned in the last couple episodes, we talked about your infamous word. We'll probably turn that into a drinking game at some point, microdosing, right? And then when we talked about goal setting, about not eating the whole elephant. And I remember when I was little, my room would be a disaster. And my mom would tell me, just start in the corner, walk in the door, and you turn the corner of your doorway and you start there and you work your way around the room. And I still use that today when we talk about not eating the whole elephant. Okay, where can I start to feel like I've made progress?
So I think today we're unraveling what spring cleaning really means. We're going beyond emptying those junk drawers and those closets and kind of, do I still wear this? And what should I do with this? And we're actually looking at relationships. We're looking at our routines. We're looking at all of those different components of our lives that we just do every day, that maybe we need to think, should we still do this? Do we still do this?
That still fit in my life, fit
Yeah.
in my life, all those clothes in our closet, we'll say, I'm going to wear those again. I'm going to lose a couple pounds and that's going to fit again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's break that down and see if that can happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before we're done, what we're going to do is leave you with one clear step to clear space and step into a lighter version of you. Okay. Spring is the perfect time to do this. It's
Yes.
almost spring yourself into action.
Mhm.
We're going to have that daylight savings happening. You are probably going to start spring cleaning your house and opening the windows and letting that light back in after that dark winter, especially here in Chicago, because it really is dark winter.
Yeah.
And we're going to really help you propel forward.
Yeah. Think about what's taking up space in your life. Is it, again, those messy junk drawers? Is it friendships, which can be delicate? Is it, even if you think about the overwhelmingness on everything that we touch on your phone, you have 1,000 apps, you have, it's just constant things that just pile up, as you add things and, hey, this is going to be good for my life. I'm going to do this. And then you don't really use it. How do we get back to simplification that and really focusing on the things that really make a difference? They talk about capsule wardrobing when you clean your closet, to find certain things that work together. So you don't walk into your closet and say, I have nothing to wear. You can really capsule wardrobe so many other aspects of your life outside of your closet. So we'll talk about that a little bit more.
I think calendars are a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I look at my calendar and every Sunday I do this whole Sunday routine where I look at my calendar and think about what the week looks like ahead. And I think that my blood pressure probably goes up at that moment because it's oh,
how do you fit it all in?
yeah.
How's this all going to happen? How are you going to tag team with, your significant other or, other people in your life that run the carpools or getting dinner on the table? It's a lot. It's a lot.
And then I think there's expectations. I think especially when we think around friendships, it's sometimes hard to think about, am I expecting too much? I recently read a book around almost, it was leadership and our own kind of deception and self-beliefs, and how we are not always true to ourselves.
Hmm.
And then it can almost make the relationship with someone, whether that's in a working environment or in a friendship sense, work against us.
Yeah.
Because we're no longer we're working to our own expectations, not a shared expectations.
Hmm.
So I think that's another really
Yeah.
interesting
And
one.
through that process of the declutter, it's, Marie Kondo, she had a strong moment, what, 3, 4 years ago. And her whole premise was, does it bring you joy? And I use that a lot when I'm in my closet and I'm like, do I really like this? Do I like the way this fits on me? Is it presenting myself in the way that I want to present
Mhm.
myself? So whether it's a piece of apparel or an aspect of your life, just say, do I really even enjoy doing this? And there's so much shit that we sign up for that. I mean, you could be going to this wretched fitness class and be like, I hate this class.
Yeah. Yeah.
So find something
Mhm.
else. Find another thing that fills that void that does bring you joy. Flip the script on that. And you don't have to, this is the time to change course.
Going back to Marie Kondo, so someone I work with, they suggested in their closet they turned their hanger
Mm,
around,
yes.
so like you can kind of really get a idea of what am I wearing, what am
Yes.
I not, and I've been doing that.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like I'm really really becoming aware and noticing what I wear frequently
Hmm.
and what is sitting there untouched,
Right.
and then those things that are untouched, I'm actually going to try them on.
Yeah.
At some point, I don't know when yet, but I will try them on. That's another episode. We'll
Right.
talk about when I try them all on.
Yes.
But it's interesting because it's not just do they still fit me? It's do I still like how I look in this?
Right.
Is this still me? Like,
Yeah.
and I think as we go through midlife as well, like I've always been a skinny jeans person,
Hmm.
always. But now I'm realizing that actually a boot cut or a flare might actually be more flattering than the
Hmm.
skinnies.
Right.
But it's really hard to break up with my skinnies.
Yes.
Really hard.
Yeah. And I do think too that you don't always have to follow the path that everybody wants you to follow. So, oh, that's not it anymore. Skinny jeans aren't it anymore. I'm like, the hell if they are. People are still wearing their leggings everywhere and they're skinny. So you tell me that they're not in anymore. So I do think there's that freedom of like, you know what? I don't need to march to the beat of the same drum of what everybody else does. I can, if I feel good in this, then you rock it.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself based on the expectation of what society's telling you. Like that's, I'm not here for that. Not
But
here for
also
that.
don't be too presumptuous with it. Presumptuous with it.
Hmm.
Um, I sometimes have a hard time when purging in my closet that,
Yeah.
oh, but what if I might wear that in the future? Or I might go, oh, my daughter might like this.
Oh
My
yes.
daughter is never going to love it. Like, I
Yes.
don't know. I'm sure my mum did the same. I remember a
Hmm.
sheepskin coat that she kept and she made me wear it. And I think it's the first time I ever saw in front of my mum. And she was like, you're going to wear this sheepskin coat. And I was like, I'm not effing wearing the sheepskin coat. Like I was like 15 years old, not wearing that thing. But she'd loved it at that age, thought I would. I'm like, no, it's like my wedding dress. I didn't keep my wedding dress.
Right.
I sold it because I felt like I wanted to offer it to someone else so it could bring happy
Hmm.
memories for them. Because there's no way my child would want to wear my
Right.
wedding dress.
Right. Yeah. Here's a scary fact. I will clean my closet and before I throw it away, I will say, oh, I'm going to keep this because it could be good for Halloween.
Love that.
Like if you are keeping wardrobe pieces because they are good for a costume, that's a problem. Number one, you probably should not have bought that in the first place. And confession, I have like a whole flippin' Rubbermaid tote full of those items. And I'm like, this is great if I ever want to be like the 80s pop princess or the Western inspired cowgirl. Like
Mhm.
I got a ton of that shit.
Sounds like
That's horrible. That
sounds
is
like I'm
bad
going to your
spending.
house. It sounds like I'm going to your house and
Yes.
helping you clear that.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. So anyway, so yes, spring cleaning, like every aspect of the life. Lot of skeletons in the closet right now that we're confessing all these things.
But going back to the joy, I think that's really valid. And you said that Mary Kondo said, is it bringing you joy?
Hmm.
And when you start to think about how that has aspects across all your life, from like you said,
Yes.
do I enjoy this gym class anymore? Am I getting joy from a friendship?
Hmm.
They're not easy decisions to make.
Right.
They're emotionally based. And I feel like those emotions can be high.
for sure.
I so as part of my coaching certificate, I had to do a lot of what we call peer-to-peer barter coaching,
Hmm.
where you acknowledge that you are exchanging your time in order to get your coaching hours. And I came to the point where I hit my 100 hours, and everyone's in this for the same reason. We all sign up knowing that everyone's going to hit their 100 hours at different rates and at
Hmm.
different points. But I had a really hard, decision in terms of I felt so guilty. I felt so guilty that I was suddenly going to start ending some of those relationships because they had served the purpose that they were intended for.
Right.
Yet no one was thinking it was any different.
Hmm.
But I just emotionally was so in my head about this,
Yeah.
having to really think about my values, my time,
Hmm.
and almost shed the relationships that had served the purpose, but that going forward, I couldn't envisage a world where we were actually still developing together, because that's what I now need to focus
Yeah.
on. I need to focus on that development of myself
Hmm.
in that coach role.
Yeah. And then I think there's guilt in spring cleaning sometimes, right? Like you said, or in you have a memory or maybe there's a little place in your heart for that moment, and it's hard to let that go.
Mhm.
So whether it's a friendship or a piece of clothing, thinking about when I had to pack away or give away all of my maternity clothes,
Mhm.
like to say, well, this is a chapter of my life that's over. And then you pick up that garment, you're like, oh, I remember when I wore this. I wore this to my shower. And it's hard to let stuff go, whether it's physical or it's emotional. So I think that's part of what you have to keep realigning yourself with is it bringing you joy? And why is it difficult to let this go? And then figure out how you can move past that. Otherwise, you will become that hoarder of everything in your life. And that will just be lead to complete overwhelm.
I remember you telling me about a blazer.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So I've done the hanger thing,
Mhm.
right? And I'm really guilty of if I see an outfit, I'm like, oh yeah, I can put that together. But I'll stand in my closet and I'll wear the same things over and over again. And I had this several years ago. I'm like rewind maybe 20 years ago. I went to this fancy store. I ordered this custom blazer because I have long arms, a little freaky, need special fit, had it
Not that long.
tailored for me. So it fit me just perfect. And I spent a fortune on it, like more than I should have, to the point where I'm like, when they charged it to the credit card, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, I just did that. And when I put it on, like when I first had it, it made me feel like really powerful and like I'm the person who has this fancy blazer. It sounds really silly reflecting on it now, but in the moment, I like this was it. It was like my truly my power suit. I was putting this thing on. I was getting the shit done, right?
Mhm.
And now we're post COVID. We're in a casual world, right? Nobody's wearing that blazer, and I look at it and I was like, I felt so bad throwing it away because honestly, I probably only wore it like maybe 10 times after I spent a fortune for it. And I would get it out, put it on my bed for like the maybe throwaway pile. And then I would be like, oh, I just can't throw it away. Because number one, the guilt of the money that I spent on it. And then two, I was really, I, I was like, who was that person I was trying to be back then? Like, that really wasn't me. And I sort of felt like embarrassed by that buy because I spent the money on something that I thought it would make me the person that I wanted to be. And that clothing did not bring me that at all. So finally, I threw it in the Goodwill bag. I even when it was in my car, I remember dropping it off. I'm like, oh, should I dig it out? Should I dig it out? But I'm like, nope. And I drove away. And when I went into my closet, like the next time, there was such an amazing feeling of like, okay, I don't have that weight anymore. Like I can focus more in this space. And I know that was just one item. I might throw away multiple that day, but it was just that one item, but the weight of that item, like mentally, was so freeing to get rid of it. So that's one example of a piece of clothing in my closet. But I know all of you out there have that one thing in your life that it carries a lot of weight to it. But how do you get yourself to get rid of it and really explore why it's weighing so heavy? So find that freedom.
I noticed that you were when you were like talking about it, you were so animated. So
Hmm.
it obviously brought you joy.
It did. Yeah.
And maybe it was okay that it brought you joy back then,
Yes.
but now it's become that heavyweight.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, even with friendships, it's like, it is okay that something brought you joy,
Hmm.
but right now, it's not.
Yeah, because everything changes. You're changing, your goals are
Mhm.
changing. So it's not everything in your life is not going to be one size fits all,
Yeah.
right? And as you continue to grow and change and develop, every other aspect has to change too. So whether again it's your clothing or those friendships, it may just not
Mhm.
gel anymore. Yeah.
So I'm really, I suppose I'm wondering, how do we do this though without feeling guilty? Because I felt guilty when I was ending those peer
Yep.
relationships. You felt guilty
Yeah.
when you
Oh, for
gave that
sure.
blazer to Goodwill, even though someone I'm sure is absolutely loving
Oh, yeah, for
the
sure.
blazer with the long arms.
Someone else is having a power moment. Yes.
So how do we let go of that guilt?
Well, I mean, last week we talked about Mel Robbins and her book, The 5 4 3 2 1,
Mhm.
where just rip the flipping band aid off. Just like 5 4 3 2 1, it's gone. And then you do not look back. You've made the decision, you feel comfortable with it, and now you're going to sit in it. It's done. I mean, that's an easy way. I know it's easier said than done, but at some point you just have to do it. You take that plunge and you do it.
So what about a stop doing list? Like
Hmm.
almost flipping it. I know
Oh,
we
I
talked
love
about
that.
goals before.
Yes.
So like obviously, we don't want you to stop your goals. We want you to still work on those goals. But in that same breath, maybe it's worth us writing down what we're going to stop doing.
Yeah. And that's probably hard to do, right?
Mhm.
Because we pile on more things on our list every day, right? So that's refreshing to be like, I'm going to stop doing these things.
Mhm.
Yeah. What,
Test it out.
yeah.
See,
What will we put on that list?
I mean, I would like you talked about a fitness class.
Yep.
Okay. So just simply thinking to yourself, okay, which of your classes do you enjoy?
Hmm.
Which, what times work for you? I know I've
Yeah.
gone through this with my gym as well. Like, and it does vary sometimes by the week, but I learned very quickly there are points in the day that I do better at
Yeah.
working out. And there are types of classes as well.
Hmm.
And some of those classes I was just, and instructors,
Yeah.
and people,
Right. Yeah.
there's
People.
sometimes those regulars that are turning up that just might not
Yeah.
be a fit for you. And I think it's being honest with yourself, and that's a really simple analogy with the fitness classes. But things like food,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Or even like thinking, going back, does it bring you joy? I think as women too, we say yes to so many things. Like, hey, can you be here on Wednesday? Yes. Hey, can you sit in on this meeting? Yes. Hey, can you walk my dog on Wednesday? Yes. At some point, it's okay to say no as well, because if all those you are going to burn yourself out to the point where you say yes, yes, yes to all these other things, but are all of those yeses coming back to you as a
Mhm.
place of joy? And it's not. I don't want to get this confused with being selfish. But if you don't set those boundaries and say yes to the things that declutter your life, because you can fill up your day really quick
Mhm.
with all the things that you believe that you need to do. But if they're not going to fit within that spring cleaning mindset to say, is this really necessary? I think that's something that we need to think about. Everybody needs to think about when they sign up for all these things.
Overcommitment is real deal.
Mm. Yeah.
And I mean, it affects your sleep,
Yeah.
cortisol,
Yep. Anxiety.
all of
Yeah.
it. I mean, even today. So, well, I'll use an example of my daughter. She recently has done club basketball, club volleyball, junior high basketball. She was overcommitted,
Hmm.
and we've almost had to give her permission at points to take a wellness, mental health break. And we've had to say no to things. This weekend was a tough one. She had a volleyball tournament that's really important. And at the same time, it was the last tournament of her club basketball.
Hmm.
We had to prioritize. We had to
Yeah.
say, okay, what brings you most joy? She loves both sports, but volleyball ultimately brings her more joy. So that's where we went.
Yeah.
And okay, I felt so guilty saying to that coach, she's not going to be there.
Yeah.
But it's almost impossible to be able to commit to everything and do it well
Right.
and feel okay in yourself.
Yes.
We've got to think about our wellness here as
Yeah.
well.
And what examples are we setting for our kiddos too, right?
Mhm.
Like at some point, we have to be the voice of reason for ourselves, which is hard to do because we'll continue to pile it on and try to limit the burdens from other people, but also for our kids. I mean, if they see us running around like a crazy person, burning the candle at both ends, not making time for ourselves. I mean, that is always, my kids are always my moral compass to be like, they're always watching. How can I set an example of finding that balance and showing them the way? So I can understand why that was a hard thing to do, you know?
I feel like it's interesting though, because before COVID and even now again, I see busyness as a badge of honor. I feel
Mhm.
like society is like, I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear so many times, I can't get there yet, or
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I feel like everyone made really big promises to
Yeah.
themselves when COVID happened that we were going to like reassess life. We
Yeah.
were going to really change things.
Yes.
Did we?
No, that is such, when you said that, that really hit because I think about when we get together in our friend group
Mhm.
and we're like, "Oh, okay." We get our glass of wine and we're like, "Oh, we're so glad to be here. How was your week?" "Oh, busy." Like we're all so busy. And even like if you have a light week, you don't dare say that you weren't busy because it's either your new normal where you are always so used to running around like a crazy person that your busyness is now that higher level of normal, or if one of us said, the three of us said, "Oh, busy," and then I just sat back and like, "I'm yeah,
I want to try
I
it.
didn't really do anything.
I always
What are
want to
you guys
try it.
talking about?" You guys would look at me like I had 3 heads. Because you're right, as women, we are programmed to fill everything to the max.
Yeah.
We're always multitasking, we're always busy. Yeah, it's
That badge
crazy.
of honor.
Yeah,
It
it's a badge of
really is.
honor,
And
yeah.
it's a societal thing. A
Yeah,
societal thing. There's nothing actually written anywhere that says that we have to be busy and overcommit
yeah, why
ourselves.
do we do this to ourselves?
Don't. Let's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
let's start a revolution. Let's
yeah,
let's actually champion the getting together and being like, I
yeah.
was so lazy this week.
Yeah, that's a great transition, right? Because what it's gonna take is that willpower,
Hmm.
So that strength to put your foot down, to say no, or even come to the realization of, "What are we doing? What am I doing right now?"
Hmm.
Like, you need to put this on pause and figure out what path you're going down because it can just lead to a short circuit.
I mean, how good does it feel when you give yourself permission to have a binge TV weekend? Okay.
Mhm.
I do it rarely,
Yeah,
but when I do, it feels so good to sit there with a
yeah.
glass of wine and watch a real
Mhm.
crappy show. I
Yeah,
mean, just do
yeah,
nothing.
but you can feel it pulling you back. Like, you
Hmm.
can be there watching that show and, like, my husband will say, "Should we watch one more?" And I'm like, "Ah." Like, I wanna say yes, and then sometimes I do say yes, and then we're like, the new series or the new episode starts, and I'm like, "God, I feel guilty, like,
Hmm.
shit, I should be doing the laundry," or, "God, I should be doing something more productive," and it's like that guilty pleasure,
It
right?
is.
And it's really hard to find that balance of, like, "Is it okay that I just do this for a second?"
Hmm.
Because then you know that it could potentially snowball on you, that because I sat here for 2 hours and watched a show versus, the 30 minutes, now I have to hit the ground even harder
Hmm.
to make up for the time that I lost by enjoying myself and chilling for a second. So you can't have both. That's why the spring cleaning is so critical that you have to, if you're gonna decide that you wanna have this chill time, which is so important, then figure out how you make that work. Figure out how to declutter. Figure out how to get those other things in your life that take up the space out. Like, is everyone really that important? And again, are they bringing you joy?
So, as I heard you talking about how you're sat there watching that next show,
Yep.
it's almost like as well when we declutter something, we then bring something else in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
my son recently passed his driving test. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've now got the gift of time plus additional worry when he's out on the road. But I've got this gift of time. And I'm thinking, I've just gone and filled it. I haven't thought purposely about how I'm going to use that time. I've just gone and filled it to fill this busyness, this
Yeah.
need to be busy that is almost like expectation of me. It's like
Mm-hmm.
this badge of honor, like I
Yep.
said. And I think it really is important to us to think if we do manage to spring clean, how are you
Yeah.
purposely going to fill that? You know, what replaces it?
Hmm.
Why does something take precedence to replace it? Really, really thinking deeper about this.
Yeah. You just dig the hole
Hmm.
deeper. You're just exchanging one problem for the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was James Clear that said, we don't rise to goals, we fall to systems.
Hmm. Oh, definitely.
And I think he suggested some ways in which we can actually try and declutter in our lives very simply.
Yeah.
I talked about that Sunday thing and how I look at my calendar.
Hmm.
One way he suggested using Sunday is unsubscribe Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will get up in the morning and go through my inbox and I will have, I can delete 200 emails
Wow. Yeah.
that are, you know, uh, uh, roping me in to buy something,
Yeah.
which I'm guilty of. And then I go down the rabbit hole, like, oh, let me see what they do have on sale. I should take part of this, right? Like just clearing. I know there's some apps out there. Some of them I've tried where they reorganize your inbox for you and they sort. I think even Apple has it now where they sort all of your promotional. I think it's a pink icon and put all those in one bucket. And then so they're not a distraction for me
Mm.
because I can sit there and the emails that I really need to pay attention to in the morning, whether it's work related or, personally related, really at a glance should only take me about 20 minutes,
Mhm.
where can sit there for at least 35 to 40 minutes. And that's time that, and if I need to go see what that sale is, I'll just go to the website and see what that sale is. Like, what am I really missing? So I think that's a really good point of that unsubscribe. There's so much clutter in our lives and our inbox that suck us down those time traps and those rabbit holes that bring us into one web page, into another page, another screen. Let's limit that. Yeah, that's an easy one. I like that.
And almost like timing it,
Yeah.
setting yourself a time that you are going to do a certain activity
Hmm.
and holding yourself accountable to that.
Yeah.
So like with the show,
Yeah.
truly one episode
Yes.
and hold both of yourselves accountable to okay, one show.
Yeah.
That way you do the thing that brings you joy.
Yeah. Your microdosing that you like to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're bringing yourself joy.
Hmm.
However, you're then not hitting that over busyness, that
Yeah.
over commitment, that feeling guilt.
Yeah.
It's almost putting a timer on your life
Hmm.
a little.
Yeah. And I think with that time is blocking out your days, right? So
Hmm.
like on my calendar, I will block out my workout and say, this is important to me. First thing in the morning, I'm going to do the things, I'm going to go work out, and then I'm done because I know there's only so many hours in the day. And if I just sort of run my day loosey goosey and it's free flowing, there's danger in that
Yeah.
because one will override into the other. My friends know this. I'm late for everything.
She is.
Everything. Yes. I wasn't today
Not
though. Not
today. Not
today.
today.
I'm really
That was
trying.
your goal
But
and you
that's because
succeeded.
I have to, yes,
I'm
thank
gonna.
you. Thanks, guys. Put it in the comments how proud you are of me. I need it. Um, but I need to block out that time to say, okay, realistically, because I'm really guilty of thinking things will take me less time than I think.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, I only have time for a 35-minute workout today. And I need to wash my hair today. Like I truly have to block out every aspect of that. Because if I just think that I can go in and get those things accomplished, that's where I fail. So I put everything on my calendar. I don't like
Mhm.
put washing my hair on my calendar, but I account for the whole day and how long it's going to take. And the days that I do that, I'm much better off.
I'm the same. It just helps my productivity and my
Yes.
effectiveness. I think one of the things that I've realized I need to do as well, though, when I'm doing that, again, falling into this busyness,
Hmm.
is making sure that I factor in those little breaks,
Yes.
so that
Yep.
I'm not just working.
Yeah.
Those little breaks bring me joy, whether it's just walking the dog for 10 minutes or grabbing a cup of tea,
Yep.
things like that, just to give yourself that little mental break.
Yeah. That exhale moment for sure.
Yeah, almost rewarding yourself as well for doing a good job of sticking to what you've set.
Right. And to look back on your day so far and be like, hey, I checked that off the list because that feels good too. There's
Hmm.
days where you're in the thick of it and you look back and like, today was such a blur. What did I even get done today?
Yeah.
So to have that list to do and your don't do list and to look back on that and see how you progressed, I think will help you realize how you stayed on track. So
I love that don't do list.
yeah, for sure.
I'm going to write myself a don't do list.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We can hope that it ggets longer than our to-do list. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've unraveled like the spring cleaning aspect, like what it means to like detox the parts of your life, whether it's relationships, if they don't bring you joy, whether it's apparel, whether it's clutter amongst your house. It feels good, like we talked about in the beginning, to purge, to get rid of things that are unnecessary so you can be more focused. There's that feng shui aspect where if you are surrounded by clutter,
Hmm.
you will project clutter. And I mean, I've came in hot to situations where I'm like, I am a mess. I have shit falling out of my bag. My hair's disheveled because my day was a wreck.
Hmm.
But the more control and cohesiveness and like symmetry I can bring to my day, that reflects in every aspect of my life. So I try to surround myself with those free zones, those clutter-free zones. Because if my office is a mess, my whole day's a mess. Like, and I think about that. It reflects what you are.
And I think you brought awareness to me today of something that I hadn't really thought about in that digital space. Like we are in a world of AI and,
Hmm.
digitally native beings now. Like I think about my kids and
Yes.
they grew up being digitally native. That's something, still not always familiar to me, but it takes up so much of my time,
So
so much
much of
of
our
my
time.
space.
Hmm.
And actually, it's one thing that I could really spring clean quite easily.
Right.
Spending the 20 minutes that, James Clear like suggests we do just
Right.
to kind of unsubscribe to things. Because yeah, that one thing may have brought you joy in the past, but it's not anymore.
Yeah.
It was, and that's okay. That is okay that something did. And now you've moved on from there.
Hmm.
But taking that time to really declutter there, I think something I'm going to
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to think about just where you spend your time. I mean, like
Yeah.
we talk about that decluttering of your digital aspect. I mean, it's addictive for a reason.
Mhm.
We've seen the data, we know the studies of the addiction to the scroll, and just I mean, I've got on certain aspects like, okay, I'm just going to go like 5 more reels, and then I'm going to get off, and then 5 turns into 10, and then I'm like, where did my day go? Well, if I really looked, and you can do this on your phone too, you can see where you've spent your time.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, shit. Look what happened on Instagram today. I didn't even know I spent that much time there. So there are those timers too that you can set
Yeah.
and block certain apps. Or, I mean, if that's a problem for you, or you can limit time on those apps or just detox them for a little bit. Like, do we really need to wish everybody happy birthday every day on
Mhm.
Facebook? Do we really need to know what's going on in your neighborhood every day? That, yes, we know there's a dog is lost or loose, or
Mhm.
there's a coyote in your backyard. Yeah, someone lost my package on the Ring doorbell. Like, that's the kind of stuff that
Yeah.
sinks you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
I was working with a peer client recently and they were trying to like improve their sleep hygiene.
Mm,
And interestingly, came to the session thinking that they wanted to stop that scroll or actually, no, limit the scroll before
okay.
bed. Okay. So they felt that they were spending more time and then what they were scrolling on was actually making them feel negative before bed. As that coaching session transpired, it actually wasn't what that person wanted to do.
Mhm,
They actually wanted to add meditation in instead of that scroll,
mhm.
but they didn't want to lose the scroll. So they looked at how they could actually bring the scroll in to a point in their life in the daytime where they could better digest it,
Yes.
feel more okay about what was going on in the world,
Mhm.
hit that fix that we
Right.
have, tick that box, but then use that pre bed for meditation because that was actually so much more beneficial for them.
Yeah.
And I'm using that as an example here because that's someone that actually acknowledged something wasn't working for them in their life. They spring cleaned that factor
Mhm.
and they added in the thing. So they added something to their
I like
don't
that.
do list,
Yeah.
and then just changed the way it worked. So they actually had the joy that they needed and
Mhm.
required that was best for them.
Right. Yeah, no, that's good. That's a very good call out. Just to readjust things. Doesn't mean they
Mhm.
have to actually change, but you just readjust it to a way that it works for you in those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've done our like don't do list anymore. We've
Mhm.
kind of done a deep dive, obviously, on what we're keeping, what we're not, where we want things to shift. So who am I now?
That's a good question. I mean, it's ever changing, right?
Hmm.
It's always ever changing. And I think that's something that you need to ask yourself, like, who am I now? Who do I want to be? Who am I doing this for? I think is a huge one, because I think there's hidden agendas in life and there's obligations that we set ourselves up for. And you just keep those in check.
It's uncomfortable,
Yeah, for sure. And like we said, there's guilt. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of willpower. Hmm.
and I'm a big believer that um, it's good to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I also understand and recognize that uncomfortability for a lot of people really is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, then how do you stop that? Or how do you be aware of that so it doesn't knock you off track?
hmm Yeah. And I think for me, that's where in my early days of coaching with you, like you sort of think you have it figured out, but then when you say it out loud and you're like, gosh, this is really the driver. What's bothering me with this? This just to say it out loud and walk through the conversation. Cause sometimes you think you have it figured out in your head, but voicing that situation to someone really makes it become more clear. And then you can develop those actions to figure out how you approach that declutter or that noise that you have going on.
I think with uncomfortability, when you take yourself out of that comfort zone, growth happens though.
Yeah.
And I know that Robin Sharma says that growth requires discomfort. And I think Tony Robbins also reminds us that life changes when we make a new decision.
hmm
So I suppose it's now I suppose, have a lens on the last, I don't know, you can microdose this. We can go to the last 5 years, the last year, the last month of your life and start thinking about whether you would be proud or disappointed of you in that discomfort and that growth.
Like, have you really changed or are you
Hmm.
still the same? For me, that's a big one, right? If I actually sat back and asked myself that question, because I mean, from our coaching, that's one of my points where, like, some people say if you're not growing, you're dying. I I'm always challenging myself to do something more. Like, was that enough? And if I look back, I'm like, God, was that enough? Like every birthday, I'm like, what did I really do this year? Was that enough? And I put a lot of pressure on myself, but that pressure, it keeps me young. It keeps me relevant. Like I don't want to get stale. I mean, that's a large reason why we're here doing this podcast,
Hmm.
is to keep evolving and getting out with the old and with the new, as they say.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah.
It really
Spring
is a
cleaning.
journey.
It
It really
is
is.
for sure.
And lots of growth opportunity.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about a lot today.
Done a lot of unraveling.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, Jen, what's our uplift?
I guess our uplift is to really think about what's decluttering your life and your space. We talked about it could be career related, it could be personal related, it could be physically related, meaning those junk drawers, it could be your closet, and figure out how to find freedom in that. And, I think we gave you guys some tips. There's a lot of other amazing podcasts and other books and resources out there, those life hacks that can help
Hmm.
you simplify your life. But it just encourage you to take the step on the one that's draining you the most.
So, we're going to challenge you to choose one.
hmm
It can be health, home, career, relationships, mindset, a mixture of any.
Yeah.
And let's commit to 30 days of intentionality.
Yeah. That do not do list and that total cleansing. Yeah. And see if that works for you.
I think Oprah, she said that you need to create the highest vision for your life,
hmm
but you need to start small. So, when you think about that, have that vision
Yeah.
about where you want to grow, what life looks like for you in the future, but start small. It might be as simple as like the coaching
hmm
session that I had where it was that small reality that they didn't want to stop the scrolling, but they wanted to change where they put it in the day.
Right.
They wanted to just shift something around, make that change. It could be as simple as thinking about writing down that stop list.
Yeah.
What are you going to stop? Try it for a day.
Right. Yeah, see if it works. And let us know, as you've listened to this, if this resonates with you, if you're up for the challenge, if you want to detox your life, please, find us on social, email, let us know if what's working for you. And we'll share those tips back because this is a community. We want, whatever we're sharing with you, you guys could have some amazing life hacks too. And we want to bring that back out to you guys. Or if you know someone that could benefit from this episode, like, you know, you've been hoarding a lot of things in your life, again, physically or, mentally. Let us help you declutter that. Like, share it with them. You know where to find us on Unravel Uplift, on all the socials. Follow us on our podcast. Please subscribe, like, share. We appreciate it.
I think that just before we close out here today, Jen, I think that's a real key message, in terms of the sharing it. You
Mhm.
know, we talked about in one of our previous episodes of the goal and
Yep.
making sure you share it with someone.
Yeah.
Do the same here.
Mhm.
You know, it can be as simple as sharing our podcast, wink, wink.
Yeah.
But it can also
Shameless
be,
plug.
but it also can be that you're sharing with someone that you are going to try something different, or you've just added something to your don't list. You
Yeah.
know, I think hiding it away doesn't actually serve the
Mm-mm.
purpose.
And you need those other people in life to help support those goals. If they're meaningful to you, I mean, accountability partners are key.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to go at it alone. We do that a lot too, right? We think we have to go at everything alone. I don't need any help. It's okay. Ask for the help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think today what we've tried to do is unravel that whole concept of spring cleaning, and not in our traditional sense
Mhm.
of we are cleaning the baseboards, we are pulling the hair out of the drain.
Yeah.
We're actually doing that in terms of things like our health, our wellness, our
Yep.
friendships, thinking really hard about what brings us joy, looking at ways in which we can stop doing things that aren't bringing us that joy, that no longer serve purpose for
Yeah.
us, and then creating that growth, getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. The permission to let it go, to
Mhm.
be free from it, just like that blazer, right? Like it represented a lot of things for me in my past. And now I didn't need that piece of clothing to make me feel confident. It was, even though I spent a lot of money for it, it's like, you know what? It is what it is. I can't look back on that now. That money's gone. And by keeping that blazer in my closet it was not bringing me joy. Because every time I looked at it, I had guilt, and I was sort of shameful. Like, who was I thinking I needed to be? So,
And I just thought of something. I listened to Mel Robbins and her let them theory.
mhm,
And I know sometimes, especially when it comes to personal relationships and friendships, it can be very tricky.
yeah,
And that guilt really kicks in. One thing as I was listening to it, because I sometimes re-listen, I re-listened this week. And the one thing that really was true to me is that, that let them theory, if you really can't let them,
mhm,
if there is someone in your life that you are not able to let them, maybe that's speaking to you.
yeah,
Maybe that's somewhere where you can start. That
mhm,
might be a relationship that is no longer serving purpose for you. Chances are it's not serving purpose for someone else as
yeah.
well.
And her opposite side of that is the let me, right? So
Mhm.
let them do whatever they're doing that you may not align with, but then let me take this other path. And
Yeah.
that's okay. That's freeing. It's like, be on board with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for listening again
Yeah.
to our Unravel and Uplift podcast. Like Jen said, feel free to share this, continue to subscribe to wherever you're getting your podcasts, follow us on our website and on our socials. We're really happy to have you on board, and we'd love to hear from you as well.
Yes. So,
We'll close this out by let's unravel and
and uplift
uplift
together.
together.